Test. Okay, good. We've actually got stream anyway. That's good. Actually checking things before we go live.
What?
Welcome to Beerfield. Chris Hopper, Dan Thury, Ryan Miner here with you on a Thursday night, not a Wednesday night, notably. I am your host, at Beerfield Hop, at Beerfield Thury, joining me, at Ryan Miner _FFB, joining me for Twitter handles to real names.
You're like, just, I like it. I mean, it's weird. Normally we're loud. You know, you fuck a couple things up. Then it really feels like a show. You know, we have maybe we have like a production meeting on air. Like
Thursday me doesn't have the same energy as Wednesday me.
That's because Wednesday you went so hard that Thursday you was recovering for it.
Wednesday me was at a homebrew meeting, yes, as is known to happen once a month.
It does happen.
I can barely hear you. It's not you though. It's me.
Oh.
Okay, try that.
I've heard that before. It's not you. It's
there
me.
We go. That's better.
Perfect.
Something was listening to music the other day and had my stuff turned down. Yeah, weird spot here where there's nothing to promote because the Potathon already happened and Wrestling for Gear happened. I got knocked off of a ring apron, got to kick a guy in the ribs and choke him out on the ropes, so that was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. And my Scott Fishbowl draft finally started. The live draft portion of that got through a whole round and a half before it got stuck up.
Love it.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess let's start there. How y'all feel about your Scott Fishbowl teams?
I actually like mine.
Good.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good.
I feel pretty good about my start. I don't have any complaints so far. There are, a couple things that didn't necessarily break the way that I really wanted them to, but at the same time, this is why we emphasize the importance of draft with tiers and have a plan B, so that if something does happen like that, you can pivot. And I'm finding myself drafting guys that I wouldn't normally draft, but I'm getting them at value. Allen Robinson, Elijah Mitchell, guys like that.
How many rounds have you completed?
We are through 13, I think. I think I've drafted 13.
Good.
Check on that real quick.
Ryan, and yours is done, right?
Yeah, we finished early. Like, I think ours finished Monday. Like, as soon as it started, we finished. Like, we weren't messing around.
What are you on, Dan?
Oh, I'm done.
You're done? You started.
I was done before it actually started because, live draft and all. So.
Yeah, my draft started a week late, so.
Yeah. No, mine's been done. How many quarterbacks went in you guys' first round?
My first round, because I'm looking at it, we had, let's see.
I got mine pulled up, too.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9
and 12. The only non-quarterbacks were Travis Kelce, Christian McCaffrey, and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, we had 10. No tight ends. JT McCaffrey, non-QBs.
And then I was wrong. We're actually in round 15. The 1501 just happened. My last pick was round 14, Tim Patrick.
Wow, we had 8 quarterbacks in the first round.
It was my wide receiver 5.
I figured that happened, Ryan. I figured we see at least 8 plus goal. Most people went 8 plus. There's some leagues that were obviously smaller, but
I waited a little longer than I wanted to get my third, but I still grabbed Trubisky for my third, so I'm fine.
That's what I grabbed too. What round did you get him in?
I got Trubisky in the. Hold on, it was double digits.
I got him in the 11.
I got him in the 10th.
Oh, nice.
10th?
Ahead of Carson Wentz and Baker Mayfield and Davis Mills. So.
Who's your second QB?
Tua.
I waited too long on my second quarterback. I wanted to see because I felt like too much value was falling because I started out with Jalen Hurts at 105 because I just wanted to see what would happen if it just took Hurts, and then Jefferson fell to me in the second round, so I couldn't pass that up.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kept going running back, then back-to-back wide receivers, and then Dallas Goedert, then Jared Goff.
I started off Prescott in the first, Cook in the second, Dalvin Cook in the second, Tua in the third, and then I went back-to-back with Allen Robinson. Or I went Allen Robinson, then grabbed David Montgomery. Or sorry, not Allen Robinson. Keenan Allen and Allen Robinson. I get confused. Keenan Allen's my wide receiver 1 in the 4th round.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So, anyway, a little insight into that. Importance of a plan B. There's a joke there, too, but the last time I made a joke around that, it didn't land well, so we're not going to. Anyway, we had a show for you tonight. As always, we're going to read Roto World live because I didn't have any time to prep this, and then we're going to go through and kind of training camp start. Raiders reported today. We're going to go through and talk about debate what each team's battle is because I didn't predetermine them, so we'll throw out a team and figure out what the biggest camp storyline is, what we're watching for to adjust some redraft ADP. So, before we do that, we got to drink a beer.
What's fueling Beerfield?
All right, Ryan, we'll switch this around. We'll let you start.
Yeah, I've upgraded this week from last week.
Did you?
So oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, you can't get much worse than last week. So.
I think I could get worse because I couldn't even finish. Actually, when we finished last week, I dumped it out because I couldn't even finish it. So this week I have Evan Williams bourbon.
Attaboy.
Some Coca-Cola Classic with it.
Cool.
Doing a nice mixer here.
Black Label 1783 or the white label? Bottle of the bond.
Black Label.
Black Label 1780.
Yes.
Oh, old school Black Label too. Nice.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you got?
I got some Phase 3. This is their collaboration they did with Rolling Table, another small microbrewery out of Chicago. This is called Just Down the Road. This is a double IPA. Hops are Vic Secret, Nelson Sauvin, Eldorado, and Laurel. You can definitely spell the dankness as soon as you pour it into the glass. It was like waves of skunk and weed. I'm like, well, this is gonna be fun.
Fruity.
Super earthy. Yeah.
Fruity with that Big Secret and that Nelson Sav though.
Oh yeah.
I got something real special.
Jesus Christ.
I am picking up Ryan Miner's slack this week. I am drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon was established in Milwaukee in 1844. It's the original Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Nature's choicest products provide its private flavors. And I just spilled some on my keyboard. So
that's how good it is. He's got to give his keyboard some.
Yeah, not exactly what I was going for there. So, for review, midway through the episode on Pabst Blue Ribbon. I guess
I'm gonna go that way this week.
I was drinking Busch Light earlier too. I couldn't break the crap beer trend. All right, let's go ahead and hit some news. Let's read some Roto World. Browns signed quarterback Josh Rosen, formerly of the Falcons, giving them another veteran quarterback. They chose him over AJ McCarron. Again, probably a sign of things to come with Deshaun Watson that they're, taking a flyer on Rosen to bring him in and see what he can offer.
I mean, new rumor is 8 weeks. Obviously, keeps moving up and down as the days go by. So
I think what I've gathered is nobody has a clue.
No one has a fucking clue.
No one has a clue.
No one does. 2 weeks, 2 years, 8 games, 6 games. No one knows until it actually happens.
Jimmy Garoppolo, whatever it takes.
Is Rosen that much worse than Jacoby Brissett?
No, and maybe the Browns think that they can unlock something, then you give them a shot. So
I just love how these teams keep rotating through the bad 2018 QB class.
Couple players starting in camp on the pump. Michael Thomas, Saints veterans don't actually report for another 5 days. He could come off before then, but it looks like Michael Thomas is going to start camp on the pup. Also, James White with a hip injury starting on the pup. Bill Belichick shared Thursday. He still is not named an offensive coordinator. So,
does it really matter? I mean, he is the offensive coordinator. He'll just appoint one, but he's gonna make all the offensive calls anyways. If it's Matt Patricia, that team's ruined. Well,
normally though, right? It's the defense. Belichick doesn't name a defensive coordinator and makes those calls. Right. It's been McDaniels at the helm of the offense for years and years. So with McDaniel gone again, or Josh McDaniels gone again, it's up in the air. But Belichick's calling cards defense. But you're right. If it's Patricia, they're screwed.
They might be fucked either way, but we'll see.
We'll see. Lamar Jackson arrived early to training camp, not holding out. It's after Kyler Murray signed a new deal, 5 years, I believe, $230.5 million for Kyler.
Yeah, he's the second highest quarterback now, or second highest player.
$500K more than the rapist himself.
Than Watson.
Yeah,
he earned that $500K by not being a shitbag of a human.
Yeah, I guess that's what it's worth.
Browns are expected to be interested in Cam Newton because they're just signing all the quarterbacks. Bring in Blake Bortles and Chad Kelly next.
Then they'll trade for Jimmy G. Just have a whole collection.
Kenyon Drake cleared to begin training camp, so there's a little bit of something that might come up later with that Raiders backfield as we talk battles. Daniel Bellinger on the pop, guy that a lot of people wanted to watch as a rookie.
A lot of people thought he was actually starting as the tight end one this year. That's why the hype was getting real, because he was out there with all the ones.
Mm-hmm. So he'll start on the pop. Let's see. Sorry, still going through some things here. Christian Watson officially signed because apparently he hadn't done that yet. Jimmy Garoppolo formally given permission to seek a trade because apparently he didn't have that yet. I thought he had that all offseason, but I guess not.
I guess not.
Darren Waller not holding out. Breece Hall officially signed. All formality shit. Jimmy Garoppolo expected to be cleared by mid-August, so he'll get to play some in training camp after being given permission to seek that trade. This is why I prep this stuff ahead of time. Eddie Goldman retired. If the season began today, Jeff Wilson would be Elijah Mitchell's primary backup, which, duh. Why I'm not worried about TDP.
No.
TDP is a talented flyer that didn't produce in college. He will probably find some success in this offense, but I'm not particularly worried about him as it relates to Mitchell's value.
Just roster as many San Francisco backs as you can.
That's true.
One of them's going to produce.
Well, they're saying Jeff Wilson's at RB2 right now behind Mitchell.
That's what a Hopper just said.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was adjusting with my sound setting, and I must have had him down all the way down to nothing.
Ooh, that's
ouch.
Cold-blooded.
It's nothing because my computer keeps going off. I don't know if you guys are hearing it, but I'm hearing it.
I don't hear anything.
I really don't hear anything.
Well, no, I can't hear you at all because
somebody wanted to turn me down. So I mean, well, just two can play at this game.
Oh.
Hey, can you unmute yourself? We're trying to do a show here.
That's
no, you can't figure out how to get off mute now. It's the little red button at the bottom, buddy.
Here's a question for you.
Bottom of your screen, bottom left, there's a microphone. There you go.
Here's a question for you.
You kept sending me the unmuted button, so I just kept saying stay muted.
Once we get out of third grade here, AJ Dillon or Aaron Jones? Which one do you prefer?
Aaron Jones.
How about at ADP? Who do you prefer?
What's the ADP?
Both.
They're both cheap.
Yeah, I mean, you can get both, because I think, what is it? Is Aaron Jones like second round? And
I hope he's not second round.
Aaron Jones?
I'm pulling it up.
No, Aaron Jones is further down than that.
He should not be second round. If he's second round, then you definitely want. Jones is 204.
Oof.
And
AJ Dillon.
Dillon's 507. So
yeah.
AJ Dillon's the answer.
Both
Yeah.
is
Who do you
the
want at
answer.
ADP?
I want AJ Dillon
Sure.
at ADP. I
want
think they're
AJ
both
Dillon.
going to be productive, but I'll take AJ
Yes.
Dillon at ADP.
I would take AJ Dillon over Aaron Jones.
By the way, that's
because of
always the
ADP.
answer when we're debating two backs that are likely going to be in a timeshare, and we're not really sure how that timeshare is going to land. Is take whoever's cheaper.
Yeah.
I have faith in Aaron Jones, so I'm gonna take Aaron Jones.
I also have faith in Aaron Jones. I'm going to take AJ Dillon
Because
because
I-
I get to save 3 rounds.
Oh,
Of,
yeah, what it comes
of
down
value.
to, what it
It's
comes
a safety.
down
It's a
to,
safe 3 rounds, but like I look at like who has a better chance of finishing as like a first round running back. You know, like one of the top.
I-
running
Whoever
backs.
stays
look at-
healthy the most.
so I look at who has a better chance to outperform their ADP, and Aaron Jones is going ahead of Kamara, likely going to be suspended, whatever. Ahead of Devonta Williams, ahead of Saquon Barkley, ahead of Zeke Elliott and Dave Montgomery. Whereas, Dillon, those are all guys that you're relatively confident can perform at that level and not necessarily in a timeshare. Whereas AJ Dillon's going down with Damian Harris and Miles Sanders. So the way I look at it is who's likely to outperform their ADP. AJ Dillon is likely to outperform the CEHs and Miles Sanders and Kareem Hunts of the world versus up at the 204 where you've got Aaron Jones going with Javonte Williams, Saquon Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill. So
Football, man.
I don't disagree with you that Aaron Jones is going to be productive and that he could live up to that second round ADP, but the way you win is finding players that are going to outperform their ADP.
What's nice though too is you actually get them both in your draft if you really wanted to.
you could.
You could.
I'm not a super fan of spending that much capital on one backfield.
That's nice standalone value though. With
You're
AJ
just
Dillon.
you're just cannibalizing your own upside with that though. Generally, you're hoping that both players completely blow up. Otherwise, you're just wasting a roster spot on a running back who could or a wide receiver who could, if it's in the flex. So
So say they both finish as two, like both as like top 15 running backs.
I don't care where they
Combined, like,
finish. I care where the points per game is at. So
So
generally, it's how I care. That's like it's. I've seen the debate talked about with them because they should run the ball more. Should be more of a game manager. They're
yeah, they're
slow pace, this,
void
that, and
is
the other.
they're void at pass catcher. So yeah.
yeah. If they're both on the field at the same time a lot, then who cares then? But
Mhm.
if they're both coming after each other, it's just you're just cannibalizing your upside by trying to guarantee an RB1 finish while also having an RB4 or 5 finish in that spot, and that's going to lead you to what, middle of the pack, and not going to win a lot of money that way.
No risk it, no biscuit.
That's why you take that's why we take Rashad White in double digit rounds
Oh yeah, I'll
with
take him
Mr.
too.
Fournette at 260.
Mr. Fournette was at 260 a month ago. Plus,
I love it.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute. He's only got to get down to 230, 240 to be fine.
He said he played 245 last year.
Yeah. So 15 pounds is nothing. I could lose 15 pounds in 4 weeks if I really wanted to. I've done it before.
I'm sure, yeah. I'll just get sick and I'll definitely lose 15 pounds.
The Athletics Big Taffer believes Keelan Cole and Mac Hollins are favorites to start opposite Devontae Adams in the Raiders' offense. Don't really care. Tampa Bay Times reports that coaches were not happy with Leonard Fournette's weight during team minicamp, and I mean, I'm not happy with my weight either. I'm just glad people don't write about it.
But I wish I was getting paid $3 million to come in slightly overweight. God, we got to set this up, Hopper.
Lombardi Linney, he showed up nearly 260 pounds, as we just mentioned. Maybe he's trimmed down, but he also plays heavy, so whatever there.
Well, they got him on the treadmill and stuff.
Yeah, well, they got to.
He'll be down in no time. He'll be.
I mean,
six
look,
pack after
Eddie
a
Lacy
second.
was a successful NFL running back. I don't give a shit if Fournette's a little bit overweight.
So, I mean, you kind of want them to come in of weight.
Yeah, well,
It'd
but it was June
It'd be
minicamp.
nice if he took his conditioning a little more seriously.
Sure,
I
but it
guess,
was
in the
June
offseason.
minicamp. Tell me what he shows up for at regular camp.
Hey, we're just going to use this, to
You know what?
capitalize on the
I
value
am thankful
that's
for
gained.
Leonard Fournette. I appreciate Leonard Fournette because I don't have to read another goddamn best shape of his life story about Leonard Fournette.
Not yet.
He's in the worst shape of his life.
Couple more weeks, he'll be back in the best shape of his life.
Ryan Switzer retired.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh.
After 5 NFL seasons. It's the first player we evaluated, I think, to have an official retirement and not just get forced out of the league.
Oh, shit. That's probably true. Look at us. God, we've been around that long to have a player retire on us.
Yeah. The Broncos will use running back screens in their offense. It's that time of year. That they're building around Russell Wilson.
Good.
Lots of insights on the Broncos offense.
Draft
We want
everybody.
to shape our offense to fit Russell Wilson. Well, that's good. We want to use screen passes with our running backs.
That's what you should be doing. I mean, it's what common knowledge says you should be doing anyway. Scotty Miller not a lock to make the week one roster. Brandon Ayuk during minicamp wasn't what you'd expect from a veteran receiver. It's probably exactly what I'd expect from Brandon Ayuk, given that note.
So when he's playing poorly?
Yeah, I'm that guy.
So how does it make you feel
fan.
about Deebo Samuel now? Like, do you still want him at ADP, or are you still going to pass on him at ADP? Because he's also saying too that he's not going to be running the ball like he was.
Why would you want him running the football?
No, you got a
At
running
all.
quarterback and
That's
a running
terrible
back.
idea.
I still want Deebo Samuel. I don't know about
206 at wide receiver 7 right now.
That's
Again,
where it
we
gets a
are
little
all.
tough.
That's a little rich.
I would like him maybe down around T. Higgins around later, or A.J. Brown around on a low volume offense around later, or DK Metcalf with no offense around later, with those big upside, big guys down there, more so than I want him at the 207.
Yeah.
If I can get him in the third round, if I can get him mid-third round, basically, I'll do it all day because I like him a little bit more than Brown and Metcalf. But, yeah, I think third round's probably about around too high.
Yeah. In that range, I mean, you're looking at, outside of just wide receivers, but you're running back wise too with, with the aforementioned Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Javonte Williams, which is too high at 207. But, Barkley, your boy Fournette and Zeke there in the, back into the second, early third. So,
A couple more retirements. Jason McCourty retired. Richie Incognito retired.
the bully himself.
I didn't know that was even still a thing.
Richie Incognito?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, after he threatened to kill people at his dad's funeral.
Real class act.
That was a real story.
I'm sure it was. It's Richie. It got an eagle. Yeah.
So, all right. That's all we got for news, unless I missed anything.
I trust you.
Cool. Real energetic. All right, cool. We're going to go ahead and jump through.
I blame you for this. You come on here all fucking monotone.
No, you're not wrong. It's on me to set the tone for the show, and I came in a little toned down, not quite as loud, not quite as rambunctious, and trying to
We'll have one argument.
run
It's
a
coming, I'm sure.
professional thing here. Oh yeah, because the whole point of this episode is to argue. All right, we're gonna go through each team, talk about their best training camp battle, and plant a flag. Start in the AFC East because that's the first depth chart I had. So, Dan, we'll start with you. What are you watching the Bills for in training camp? What battles are you watching, and which one do you think is the most key to fantasy football for Buffalo?
I guess it's going to be, I think we know the wide receivers. So it's got to be the running backs. It's got to be what the early work looks like for James Cook. I think he is one of the odds-on favorites for hero RB drafters and for zero RB drafters, because if our lady's going in his rookie draft and you want to kind of get an idea of what type of workload he should be seeing, it's hard to know right now, but if he's starting to get some run with the first team, I guess that's a decent sign that he should be on the field a decent amount to start the season. But if it's all Devin Singletary, especially when we get into preseason, week 2, I guess now there's only 3 weeks of 3 games of preseason. It's just seeing where he is compared to Devin Singletary. It'll kind of give us an idea of what to expect from this backfield to start the year before all the injuries and shit come in.
Yep, I think that I would agree with that being the biggest one. We're watching what they're going to do with Zach Moss pretty close as well.
Fuck Zach
he
Moss.
should be dead and cut, but at least make sure he's buried. The other argument you could make here, which I don't think is as fantasy relevant, I think the running back's the right call, is that slot receiver position. I think most of us assume Crowder, but his health's been a little bit up and down, and Isaiah McKenzie's been successful, and a lot of people like Khalil Shakir coming in. So that third wide receiver spot's going to be interesting to watch throughout the year, albeit not necessarily super productive for fantasy. So I agree. It's the James Cook and Devin Singletary thing that I'm keeping a close eye on. Ryan, anything to add there?
With a sprinkle of Dawson Knox and O.J. Howard.
Who's going to be the more athletic tight end that's going to catch touchdown passes from Josh Allen?
Dawson Knox
should have the leg up on the competition.
He should. Well, especially because his legs generally work. Miami Dolphins. So a couple options here. Actually, not really a couple options here. I think the only thing that we're watching here is also the running backs with Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Sonny Michel. And I really don't think – I think most of us anticipate that Edmonds is going to be the guy. But I think you're really watching that backup battle between Mostert and Michel close too, because you do want, especially the way that McDaniel uses running backs, there is going to be a second back in Miami that's valuable, I think, in the late rounds.
You absolutely want to know who the backup running back is. With Evans,
Gaskin can't count Gaskins out of that either.
Yeah, it's just who's the backup? Who's the perceived backup, and then what type of role do they even have behind Evans? I mean, normally you're just waiting for Evans to get hurt or to miss time for whatever reason, and then you pounce on that backup. And that's as you said, Hopper, that's what we're looking for.
The one I'm really excited about is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, just because they're so close in like rankings, ADPs you look at. It's like, who's going to be that true wide receiver one? Are they going to cancel each other out, week to week? Are they both going to explode? Like, how's it all going to pan out? Like, I'm looking forward to seeing like who Tua is really looking at more at that one-on-one.
Yeah. All right. So here's a question then: You want Tyreek Hill to 209, or do you want Jalen Waddle at the 408?
I think Tyreek Hill is a 209 for me, just because I anticipate that Tyreek Hill is going to be the one there. I like Waddle quite a bit, but the ADOT from last year worries me. The way they used him close to the line of scrimmage worries me, and it's really the capital in both of them. They gave up a lot to get Tyreek Hill, and Waddle's a high round draft pick too, but you gave up a lot to get Tyreek Hill in there, and I think that they're going to try to make him a focal point of this offense. And also it's an offense that tends to lean on the run quite a bit from what we saw in San Francisco. So I think they're
gonna be wide receivers that are gonna give you headaches, because like last year Tyreek Hill was like more of a headache type of wide receiver. Like you look at his stats last year and the year before, they're very similar, but last year he was more boom bust than anything. Like he'd have that blow up week and then have nothing. I feel like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are going to have that week in, week out, where they're both going to, 1 week they'll both, they both could explode like how the Chargers can. And then another week, they're getting 4 points. The other one's getting 15, 20 points.
Yeah, they could both be very frustrating. And, they're going to be frustrating. They're going to be Waddle, because frustrating in the fourth round is a lot easier to stomach than frustrating in the second.
Yeah, when you're passing on people like Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Deebo Samuel, CeeDee Lamb.
Waddle, he's got 2+ years dating back to college with the chemistry that's already being built in. He's got a coordinator that I don't think they're going to be as run heavy as people think. I think he'll learn from Kyle Shanahan to adapt his tendencies and his play calling and his scheming based around the playmakers he has. And as much as I like Chase Edmonds, why the fuck would you run the ball that much more when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, two of what could be the biggest headaches for defensive coordinators to try to game script around? Tua may not have a big arm, but I think McDaniels is crafty enough to utilize, Tua's strengths combined with the strengths of yards after the catch for both Waddle and Hill. I'll just take the discount on Waddle. Easy enough.
All right, Patriots. I I'm not concerned about the running backs because that's a battle that's not going to be solved. So I'm really looking to see how Devonta Parker fits this offense and if he cuts into Jacoby Myers' work at all. They kind of played different roles. Myers, really safe floor guy. Parker had a big season. Finally had the big season 2 years ago. Fell back to earth a little bit last season. That's really all I think there is to watch with the Patriots. I guess you can make an argument for, the second running back of Johnny Smith and Hunter Henry. But really, I think it's Myers and Parker that I'm watching there.
I mean, they're both double-digit round receivers. Parker's going in a round and a half or 2 rounds ahead of Myers. But I actually kind of like Parker in this. He gets probably his best deep ball passer that he had, and would have thought Mac Jones being coordinated with good deep ball passes. But I think you're going to see this offense potentially be a little more open, allowing Jones to do what he does. And they gave up a 3rd-round pick for Parker. I may not see him like a lot, but with their attendance or with their problems of drafting receivers and bringing in a veteran that looks a lot different than every other receiver in this offense, I think you can get value in both Myers and Parker. And I think Parker could have some nice games, especially, for those best ball weeks.
I like it.
I don't disagree with that. Myers, to me, is the type of player that's invaluable in those late rounds, though, if the floor holds.
He's so good.
Yeah. For the Jets, Ryan, what are we looking at for the Jets? What are you paying attention to? What are we watching there?
Who the actual wide receiver one's really going to be there? It's like, okay, we know I understand with Brees Collins and Michael Carter, but it's like, is Elijah Morgan taking the next step? Is it going to be Garrett Wilson? Is it going to be
Corey Davis?
Corey Davis. Like, because Corey Davis actually did really good last year when he was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So can Corey Davis actually still be that wide receiver one? It's like, who do you draft there? Of course, I think the way we're going to look at it is we're going to go the best of the last, So whoever's going to be drafted last, we'll go after that one.
So right now, Elijah Moore 7'10". I don't think Garrett Wilson's being.
He's 1405.
He's the 14th, and then Corey Davis is right behind him. So you have 2 14th round picks. So
I would just take a flyer on Wilson or Davis, and I like Elijah Moore too, and I think he's the most likely one to pop. But they drafted Garrett Wilson for a reason, like you said, Ryan. Corey Davis was good last year when he was healthy, so
was Elijah Moore, and he did it with like 4 or 5 different quarterbacks.
Sure.
Right?
I still want Elijah Moore. I think he's like
and I'm okay
there's
with
not
that.
much of a discount there that you get from Garrett Wilson, but at least more.
But you're not getting a discount on Garrett Wilson in the 15th round?
No, I'm saying you're not getting a discount
on
with Elijah Moore
Yeah.
when they drafted Garrett Wilson. That's what I meant.
Yeah. That I agree with because I think Moore in the 7th round feels about right on an offense that a lot of people have questions about.
Yeah. That should also throw the football more and still play from behind. So
Now give me
at both.
Yeah. Or give me Garrett Wilson late, the way that rookie wide receivers have kind of hit lately.
That too.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump over to the NFC side. It's still in the East. The Dallas Cowboys, is there anything we're paying attention to there as far as training camp battles? This is a team I look at, and they seem pretty set. Gallup's going to start on the pop. Jalen Tolbert's gonna take those starts. It's pretty much already predetermined because there's a huge talent drop-off after that. Running backs are pretty set. We know that Pollard's going to get his, particularly in the passing game, but he's not threatening Zeke for carries, and Dalton Schultz, as long as he signs, is locked in. And
we're not going to really see much of trying to show out between Pollard and Zeke. They're going to be pretty vanilla with their play calling. I think we're going to see a lot of, dual running backs out there. So I'm with you. I don't think there's much to talk about in Dallas unless you got something, Ryan.
No, I don't see any hype at all. I just see it's just, picking up from last year.
All right, flipping over to the Giants. Really, this is a team that needed to do more, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, and they really didn't. So it's another team I look at, and it's like, all right, what are we watching here? For me, all I'm watching to see is Kadarius Toney healthy. That's my biggest thing is, can Kadarius Toney make it through training camp healthy? And if so, then he's your most draftable pass catcher. I don't care about Sterling Shepard because he's been hurt for like 5 years now, on and off again. And Kenny Golladay was a total dud last year, even when he was healthy.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I'd like to see if there's any pop from Daniel Jones now with Brian Dabble and what should be, I guess, just a better overall team and offense and hopefully scheme that he brings to it. And I guess just to see what we get from Barkley, if we get much of anything from Barkley in the preseason.
I'm excited for Saquon Barkley this year. I mean, I feel getting him at 209.
I'm almost too excited.
Yeah,
I'm a little too excited.
Because, like, people compare, like, oh, yeah, he had a bad season. He was injured. He's been injured the last couple of years. But then it's like, look at Christian McCaffrey. He's the same exact thing. But, yeah, when Christian McCaffrey came back, he was still putting up 25, 30 points, PPR points, that is. And he's going at 104. So it's like the discount you can get, you can actually have both of them on your team right now if you're drafting today, which is freaking crazy thinking of having Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. It's something you can only see in, like, an auction league, I feel like.
It feels so good.
Right? Like, you usually want to run around in circles. Like, you have both of them on your team. You're getting up, you're running around, you're coming back and drafting.
Then you can get like a CeeDee Lamb or maybe like a sliding Jamar Chase or something in the second. Oh, it just feels good.
Right?
Feels good. Love it.
All right, Philadelphia Eagles. Go ahead, Ryan. Anything here that you're paying attention to with Philly?
Like the hate for Miles Sanders, man. That is a hard one to get over. Like, he didn't have any touchdowns last year, but he still had the yardage. He still had the catches, but no touchdowns. And this year, it's like those touchdowns have to come back. So, I mean, he's going at 5'10" right now, but I've been seeing him drop more like in the 6th round lately in a lot of drafts. And so he's one player I'm really excited about. And then Jalen Hurts on top of that. Getting AJ Brown. You have another a true wide receiver one to pair with Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. This is the true make or break year right now. I feel it for Jalen Hurts too. So with him going at start of the 6th round, 604, I think that's pretty good value right there.
I mean, you also get what we talked about with Miami, right? Team trades for a new wide receiver one, and you have last year's wide receiver one with that, with that chemistry being built in dating back, to college and the success that he had also in his rookie year. Talking about Devonta Smith. It's just, it's the same conversations that get talked about with Tua and Waddle that you can find value potentially in Devonta Smith because of them trading for AJ Brown. And Brown's still going in the 3rd, 4th round. Which, if you believe in Hurst and if you believe in him as, becoming a better passer, they're both a value in that, in that same stance. So I'm interested to see how all those two mesh and how whatever information we can get, from this offense in preseason. Maybe nods in training camp to who Hurts is favoring a little bit more to start.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to any of that, especially with Smith and Brown. Washington Commanders. Don't know that there's a whole lot to watch here either. Mostly because they didn't add a whole lot. I guess you could watch for, that wide receiver 2 battle, but I think that's pretty well Jahan Dotson. And we have a pretty clear-cut idea on what they want to do with the backs also. I don't think Gibson's role is in danger. I think they want to mix Robinson in as kind of a two-headed attack. So I guess if you're watching for anything, it's how does Brian Robinson look? And, does he show enough to warrant getting the carries it would take to try to recreate a D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart type of situation? And if he does, that could inherently impact how you value Antonio Gibson, but there's not really a straight battle there I'm paying attention to.
No, I agree.
Yeah, no battles. I'm just paying attention to see what Carson Wentz does. Just in general.
Hurts his leg.
Just like, 3rd team in 2 years now. It's like, all right, man. What's going on here?
Probably lose to the worst team in the worst in the worst time to do it.
All right, for the Ravens, I think that arguably the thing I'm paying the most attention to here is the running backs. Who's healthy? Who's not healthy? After all the injuries that they had, how do they fall in? They have 5 guys right now that I think are worthy of making the roster at running back, and 3 to 4 of them probably will. So, somebody's going to end up cut, and then 2 other guys are probably going to have value. And that's out of J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Mike Davis, Tyler Beatty, and Justice Hill. So, really watching who's healthy, who's not healthy, and how these guys look and this roster shapes out, because we know it can be a running back-friendly team. It's just a matter of who's it going to be. Is Beatty a 6th-round pick good enough to earn a roster spot, or is he going to try to get snuck through to, a practice squad position? Mike Davis got anything left? Are they going to hang on to Justice Hill, who hasn't really shown a whole heck of a lot? That's where I'm at with this team.
Mike Davis feels like he's going to probably get cut. He feels like the veteran that gets brought in due to the health of the starters.
If I had to guess cuts, it would be Davis and Justice Hill.
Yeah. And they'll probably roll in. If they don't cut Justice Hill, they may try to sneak,
Beatty to the practice squad.
He was a 6th-round pick. I mean, there's a good chance he makes it, and they can sign one of the vets that's still out there. I think the only way Davis makes the team is if one of Gus or Dobbins isn't ready to go by week 1. And if they're both going to be fine and play, then I think Davis will get cut.
Sure. Anything to add, Ryan?
Well, plus wasn't the report Dobbins wasn't going to be ready by week 1? Isn't that what Rappaport said?
Yeah, until Dobbins dumped on him. So, it's...
I'm going to laugh real fucking hard, though, if he ends up on week 1, though.
And that report was a little unclear anyway, because he's not going to be ready for week 1, but the Rappaport report was basically that they were going to ease him in to week 1, and we kind of had that debate a couple weeks ago on whether that meant he was a candidate to start on the PUP, or they were just not going to risk injuring him and rushing him back too soon. So the health of J.K. Dobbins falls right into that as you watch how that backfield lands.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to play it safe, especially if you're drafting now, if you're doing an NA draft, I'd be going Gus Edwards later in the 13th round.
Yeah, well, because Edwards is going to find some utilization anyway, so.
Exactly. They don't want to run one back.
That difference is insane. Like Dobbins in the 3rd, there's still a lot of upside. I mean, that's still fine. But Edwards in the 13th?
Yeah.
Like, why would you ever want to take a Madison or a Pollard in the 7th, 8th, 9th round? I mean, I guess kind of.
Dan, I got that energy for you. We are 43 minutes into the show, and I never switched the YouTube to the cameras.
Oh my! Woo, baby!
There you go.
We're through like 3 segments.
You wanted the energy. There it was.
Oh man, that's fucking great. The YouTube's was just like.
Well, I mean, they had the logo with us talking.
They had the logo.
They just couldn't see our face. It's
they're
fine.
probably like, "What's fucking happening?"
As far as failures go, that's okay. We didn't really do anything you had to have camera for, unless you wanted to see my PBR can. In which case, wait, that's the wrong side. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Here's how phase 3 looks. Ooh.
Whiskey and Coke.
Which was blurred out.
My blurred out background for now.
Yeah.
So I fixed my basement wall.
One of these days.
Bengals, there's nothing to really talk about there. They're chalk.
Yeah.
For training camp. Get through it healthy.
Yep.
The Cleveland Browns. Quarterback situation is going to drive this whole damn thing. And then
I still think it's Brissett. I think he starts week 1.
I think it's also, how does David Bell look in comparison to Amari Cooper? Does Anthony Schwartz or Donovan Peoples-Jones? I mean, look, you're not worried about the running backs here. The quarterbacks are going to make or break this damn thing, and there's no clarity at the wide receiver position, and there's not even really anything sexy at the wide receiver position.
I mean, I think we kind of know that Cooper and one of Peoples-Jones or Schwartz will start outside, and then Bell will work in the middle. Yeah, that'd be my guess. Not middle, but slot. But again, like you said, like, do you really want to have more than one receiver from a Brissett-led offense, and
No.
God knows how slow Watson's going to start out. Dude hasn't played football in almost 2 years,
Well, and do you even want
and he's
Amari?
out of shape.
And do you even want Amari Cooper in a Brissett offense who faded hard in, Dak Prescott offense? I've stumped for Cooper on the show before, where the underlying intangibles were not bad. It didn't drop off in any major category other than CeeDee Lamb showed up and they stopped looking his direction. But same thing, right? Is he really going to get peppered with that many targets?
602 wide receiver 25. Right
Who's
now.
he around?
Adam Thielen and Mike Williams and Brandon Cooks are the top three in front of him. Then Renfro, Robinson, and Mooney
I take
are behind him.
Robinson, Mooney, and Cooks and Thielen probably
you
ahead of him.
You got Marquise Brown in the 7th round. You got Cortland Sutton in the
Yeah.
7th round.
There's a lot.
Elijah Moore. God, Robert Woods. Again, we're still in very early redraft season. We haven't had a lot show up, so these numbers still haven't been too much skewed differently from the early offseason.
But they're picking up.
They're starting to.
Yeah,
There's a lot of value to where there's no need to take the risk on a lower passing volume offense and draft Amari Cooper in the 6th round probably as your wide receiver 2 or 3.
right. Times drafted. These are up in the 3, 4, 500s now, as opposed to the
Oh God, we're in the
hundreds.
thousands.
Yeah.
Ryan, sorry.
I'm also curious who their number 2 receiver is really going to be. Is it going to be like the one
Don't care.
who I keep thinking? I do.
Dude,
Like David Njoku at 1408. You paying him. It's like that's like one of my favorite sleeper tight ends to like aim for at the end of my draft. It's like I'm going elite or late, so I'm not going to try to go in between. It's like I have a few elite players I want to get at tight end, and then after that, I'm not going after anyone else, and it's David Njoku as my target because I see him truly being the number 2 target in that receiving game.
I see this offense just imploding this year, and you want nothing.
So you mean the Browns are just going to Brown?
Browns are just gonna suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even Nick Chubb's gonna be like, I got 1,200 yards rushing, but 2 touchdowns. Like, cool, bro. How's
Awesome.
an RB3 finish for you? Great.
Steelers. Anything there? Deontay Johnson, we know is the one. Mitch Trubisky, we pretty much assume is going to start. Najee Harris is the top running back. Pat Freiermuth, their tight end, is near the back 10. You don't really love anything else behind that.
What about the number 3 receiver in the league, Chase Claypool?
What?
Hey, didn't he say he was like a top 3 receiver in the league?
He said, yeah, I think he said that. It's more of a dynasty thing for me. I got my question marks there. But for this year, I think it's pretty set in stone on who's who.
He's taking
Yeah.
He's trying to speak it into existence. He's the guy in the bar that talks about how he can give you a good night, and then it's over in 30 seconds.
He's the guy in the bar reading off Tyreek Hill 40 times
Oh,
on
God.
Sundays.
Oh, fuck. Jeez, fan.
That's a deep cut.
There's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. Ryan's like, what?
Speaking
Don't worry about it, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't want to go to your guys' bars.
No, you don't.
I saw it on American Pie.
Chicago Bears.
Who?
The Bears. No,
I got nothing. Here.
I'm
think
watching
it's
the
all
wide.
pretty set.
I'm watching the wide receiver two battle between Velus Jones and EQ St. Brown and N'Keal Harry. I think that it's going to be interesting to see who else lines up there, who else lines up opposite Mooney, because we know that Mooney's not a 1, and if Fields does take the next step, there is the possibility that one of those guys ends up with some flex value, especially with the Bears playing from behind. The Allen Hurns type of scenario, if you will. So, I do have some interest in who the second wide receiver is going to be here because of how bad I think that defense is going to be.
As much as I like N'Keal Harry as a prospect, I think all of us would agree we did. I'm interested to see if he gets his shit together. New team, wide open competition. We know that the talent's there. We just hope that the in between the years can be right, and he can kind of become who he wants to. And
Dante Pettis is also there, by the way.
how the fuck? They just have the cast of busts over there?
Who is
Harry,
available sign?
Pettis,
St. Brown,
St. Brown was a 6th-round pick. Can't really be a bust.
Tajay Sharp's there somehow for some reason.
That's right. Brian Pringle.
Byron Bringle.
My God, I feel so bad for Chicago Bear fans.
Yeah.
Next year when you guys have all that cap space and a top 5 pick,
Yeah,
We'll figure it out then.
you can get Smith in the bowl. You can get the wideout from Ohio State and
Smith and Jigba, please.
and then just whoever else you want to pick up and free, like whoever else you want to overpay.
Please, Smith and Jigba.
Juju, get Juju there too.
There you go.
That's not a bad fit. You get Jack Smith and Nigbo. You get Juju in the slot, and
Then
Mooney on the opposite side.
Mooney outside, speed guy.
Yeah.
That's
You got Cole Kmet,
it's very
who I think is
formidable.
the number 2
Cole Co-
target getter in that offense probably
I
this
think
year.
so too, and I think Cole Kmet, could easily end up at least for Ironmuth levels of tight end 7-8. So
He'll be a back end tight end one.
he will
He may
be.
not get the touchdowns. He won't have any of the big boom upside, but he'll
He'll be
He'll
solid.
have consistency.
So yeah, I'm watching that wide receiver 2 battle though, just because I think that there is going to be some volume there and some bye week flex type of opportunity
Yeah.
if Harry gets it or Jones gets it. Detroit Lions.
Oh, you Ryan.
Oh yeah, I'm watching that wide receiver core. I want to see how if I'm on St. Brown really gets 6-7 targets. I want to see how DJ Shark does on the outside. I want to see what Jameson Williams can do whenever he comes back. Supposedly he's coming back after Thanksgiving.
What?
So, yeah.
God damn.
Like he's talking like I've heard like as early as week 1, I've heard week 4, I've heard Thanksgiving now.
I mean, that's
So-
smart. There's no need to rush him back.
No.
It's not going to be a lot this year, but
Like
they're not going to need him. It will
Like-
not be. Ryan, I cannot wait for you to be the saddest Lions fan when they
I'm
When they
crying
make
because
the
they won.
playoffs, that's the 7th seed. And then the
Or-
Saints end up as a bottom 5, or not the Saints. Oh, no, they don't have a second 23 first rounder this year. Damn it. Or do they? They have the Rams,
They-
right? They have the Rams next year.
The Lions.
That's
have
right.
it.
They have the Rams. Well, Rams are going back to the Super Bowl, so
I don't-
hopefully you guys will make the playoffs, and then you can
The
move
offense,
up.
like I still don't see these 10 like these wins that people keep getting. I don't see it because it's like okay, the offense improved a lot more, but the defense didn't improve that much better. The defense was still 31st against scoring last year. Their defense
And the NFC North is bad. It's not a
the
good
Lions.
division.
It's for the Lions. It's okay.
Every single game is winnable.
When I say I
God, you are
understand the whole-
so.
third
Stop
place.
being so reasonable about the Lions. Get fucking happy.
I am happy.
I mean, god damn it.
We're voting for
I'm
next
picking
year.
them to make the playoffs, okay?
I'm sorry.
Ugh.
I like the Vikings finish first in that one.
Well, I mean, so do I, but Lions are going to beat out Green Bay. It's going to be glorious.
God, I'd love to see
I think
that.
they will beat out Green Bay too.
Green Bay, so we're
Lions
Feels
we're in a lot of games and they've gotten a lot better. I don't disagree on watching how those wide receivers fall either. I think it's St. Brown. I think that Jameson's going to start on the pop. So
I really actually starting to fall like back towards Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I've actually been starting to move him up
yeah,
more and more.
I think so. I think Jark will have a role and Reynolds will plug in until Williams is healthy. But Williams starting on the pop is going to open
There's
some
so
things
many
up.
targets there. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean,
TJ
I do
Hockenson.
think St. Brown's going to get 6+, 7+, but man, they got at least adequate. They have like 3 or 4 adequate.
Do we need
pass
to
rushers.
do the whole St. Brown gets 6+
No.
targets a game thing again?
I said he is. I'm just saying.
We made it through the Jets without Zach Wilson having to play every position. So
God,
The-
we're not rehashing that one again.
The MILF Hunter.
the Milf Hunter,
The MILF Hunter himself.
Green Bay Packers. Is it the wide receivers or is it the running backs? What are you paying closer attention to?
Nothing.
I don't care. It's,
Yeah.
it's the
I'm
running
watching
backs
Christian-
and Lazard, and that's it.
I'm watching Christian Watson because I want to see if it looks like he's going to be far enough along to start over Sammy Watkins or Randall Cobb to start the season. I want to see. We know he's a raw talent. We know he's athletic as hell. I want to see if he looks good enough in the preseason. If the Packers think he's far enough along to give him a starting job and put him on the field with Allen Lazard? Because if so, then he does have wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 type value as a floor. So I am paying close attention to him.
I mean, that's the slowest pace. I know it's Rodgers, but I don't think we're getting 2 wide receiver 3s from this offense. I don't think we are. It's Lazard. Maybe it's Watson if he comes along late and Lazard falls off. But it depends where, as you just said, Hopper, just depends where he is in his development. I mean, just like with Lance, he's coming from a Division II school behind. He's just super athletic and raw. And I guess we'll see.
They'll slow it down if they have to slow it down. But if they
were the slowest pace offense last year. I don't know how much slower they can get.
Well, that's what I mean, right? If they have the pieces to go more up tempo, I think they're smart enough to do that. But I don't think that there's anything there that dictates them going more up tempo.
I mean, outside of them, playing from behind, which we don't expect because they have, I think, arguably the best defense in football.
Yeah.
With a very strong running game and a coach that wants to pound the rock right now. So
right. The other thing with Watson is the big playability too, so you don't need a ton of volume to pop if he's on the field.
Best ball.
Yeah, best ball.
Best
ball indeed. Vikings, I got nothing there. Dan, you got anything for the Vikings?
No, it's very chalk there.
All right, let's hit a beer review, then we'll hit the other half of the league.
Beer review.
Whoever wants to go.
I'll go. Again, phase 3. This is called Just on the Road. This is in collaboration with Roaring Table Brewery. This is a double IPA. So double dry hop, double IPA. Vic Secret, Nelson Sauvignon, El Dorado, and Laurel. Sorry. It's how hazy IPAs are. Super full body, a lot of pungent flavors, a lot of citrus, stone fruit. You get the dankiness, pininess from the hops, from the hot, generally probably from more of the white. You think it'd be from the white grapes, Hopper? More so from.
Think what would be?
More of the pininess.
What hops?
I mean from the West Coast.
What hops did you say are in there again?
Vic Secret, Nelson Sauvignon, El Dorado, and Laurel.
I'm not familiar with Laurel. Let me look that up because Nelson Sauvignon's more white grape.
Yeah,
El Dorado's stone fruit.
It is from the Laurel hops. Wonderfully floral.
There you go.
Herbal notes. Yeah, that's a lot of. That must be. God, they must have put a lot in there.
El Dorado's
a lot of skunk
stone fruit, and Vic Secret's like tropical and berry.
Yeah.
So
here it is. It's. I love Phase 3. It's my favorite Chicago brewery.
There you go, Ryan. Dropping some hop knowledge on you.
Heck yeah. I learned something.
You can use that when you're out with the boys next. You can be like, I learned things.
I learned things from my other friends.
I was drinking
Pabst. Don't lie to us, Ryan. We're your only friends.
True that.
I was drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, and I have no idea what hops are in this or anything. It's a smooth drinker. It has a lot of malty sweetness to it. Actually, it's very, very sweet. So
how old is it?
American lager. I don't know. Hold on.
If it's that sweet. I mean, I know it's malt forward, but
January 2022. So it's not super old for a lager. It's been kept cold.
That's still fine.
So, yeah, really smooth, easy drinker. Like I said, a lot of malt sweetness to this. It's not bitter. It's not skunky because it was kept cold. If you didn't keep it cold, it would definitely be skunky. So, overall, very, very good beer and one of my favorite go-to hipster beers when I want to drink like crap. So,
I had Evans Williams Kentucky Straight Bourbon and Coke, and to me, it's just nice, sugary, a little bit of sugar whiskey and Coke, so it's very relaxing, something I can chill with and drink. So very smooth. Kind of hard to explain it, but either you like whiskey or you don't. I feel like
it's bourbon and Coke. I mean,
yeah. like water. You know.
I mean, we
Okay.
can't drink. I can't drink them like water. So
It does give you. So Beer Advocate actually gives you some information on Pabst Blue Rhythm. It uses a combination of 2 and 6 row barley. 6 row barley is kind of a classic.
6, huh?
Yeah, kind of a classic grain that has, it's more different from 2 row based on enzymes. It's a little bit earthier in European hops, so probably some noble hops in there. Proprietary lager yeast and a unique fermentation and maturation process.
That sounds like a hipster wrote that for sure.
Yeah. Noble hops. Anyway.
Makes sense.
And also the malt sweetness makes sense with that Pilsner malt there. Anyway. All right, cool. Second half of the league. Houston Texans. I'm watching the running backs closely for the Texans. I'm also watching what Mechie does and if he can surpass Collins as the 2. But I'm really paying close attention to the running backs here, particularly Damian Pierce and Marlon Mack.
You know that one. That's exactly the same with the exact 2 I'm going after. Marlon Mack and Damian Pierce are the running backs of the Houston Texans.
In the words of Matt Kelly, you can just draft them both because they're both double-digit round picks.
Yeah. Just let them hang around.
They're literally going 1 pick separated from each other. Pierce is 1009, Max 1008.
There you go. Colts. Couple things you could argue for the Colts. You could argue the tight end position isn't going to be Mo Alley Cox. Matt Ryan at quarterback has traditionally supported tight ends. A lot of people like Jelani Woods coming in as a rookie. But also you need to pay close attention to that wide receiver 2 position. We know Pittman's going to be the 1, but they liked Ashton Doolin enough to re-sign him. Paris Campbell's looking healthy and got a lot of hype in off-season activities, and they spent a second-round pick on Alec Pierce.
Yep. Ditto.
I set
Ryan
these
with the
things
with the
up.
Dan analysis there.
Set these things up for discussion, and
Yep. I mean it's right though. It's the wide receiver 2-3, I guess. I think it's gonna be Mo Alley Cox. It's hard to see. I mean, traditionally rookie tight ends
the struggle.
they struggle. They don't get on the field early. So I think it's going to be who takes the number 2 and 3 spot. I expect them to run. Just depends on how many wide receiver 3 sets they run, but it's really who's playing alongside Pittman, and you have to think it's probably going to be one of Campbell or Doolin to start the year, and then just how long does it take for Pierce to get out there?
I mean, or both if they run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, which they could.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
They also have Naeem Hines, so they could go 2 backs as well.
They
So
can get cute.
They can get cute.
Plus, like, when does Julio Jones sign? When and where?
Hopefully
Like,
not at Indy.
Oh, you don't want to paired back up with Matt Ryan?
I want him to go to Green Bay. As much as it
No.
hurts to say, at least go somewhere where he can be a thing.
Jacksonville, I think we're watching who's healthier out of James Robinson and Travis Etienne, and who's going to be the back there.
I have
Maybe
to
the
put
way-
my money on ETN, but
Yeah, the way you were saying about it last week, Dan, it's like, the news you've been hearing, Etienne's going to explode. It's like, man, I'm trying to get Etienne everywhere I can now.
I've always wanted to get ETN where he can. It's got the DeAndre Swift upside, and now you get a legitimate offensive, play caller and a non-horrible situation, and Lawrence with no target on its back. I think it's going to be. I love this Jaguars. I'm not in love with it, but I'm very much intrigued by it because everyone's of value, including
everyone's
Christian
also
Kurtz. We talk about like every fucking week. Still goddamn cheap.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Tennessee Titans.
I guess between Burks
and Woods.
it's really Burks' health, right? Like
Well, it's Woods' health, too.
Woods. I mean, yeah, Woods is on the fast track to start and be ready by week 1. There's been no setbacks. There's been no talk of setbacks.
Yeah,
And
do
I
we get
guess what's that
Do
right?
we get like a Des Fitzpatrick site? Like, rear
No.
resurrection? Does
No.
Kyle Phillips become something?
The career resurrection. He's been in the league for a year.
Well, yeah,
1 year.
he-
It's coming
he-
back, guys. He's never there.
Nick
He's
Westbrook.
coming
Oh,
back.
he wasn't there.
Yeah, I think Nick Westbrook-Ikeen's probably he might start the year as a 2 if Burks is on the track, which would be a terrible sign.
Yeah.
It's just shades in the kill here at that point. Austin Hooper, 2. He's been productive throughout his career, and the team is in dire need of a number 2 receiving option.
Yeah, be
also
interesting
get him
to see
late.
how much they use a tight end. I mean, we're also assuming we're going to be able to pick up anything from training camp at all, and we're not going to have to figure this shit out the first.
Right. I was going to say, just how much are these teams going to actually show us?
Yeah. Falcons, running backs. That's particularly what I'm looking at. Can Tyler Algier put together a good enough camp to be the primary back coming out of camp and beat out Damian Williams and Cordero Patterson? I'm banking on it.
I don't know if he'll start. And I don't think it just depends how they want to utilize, I guess, Patterson more with them kind of, I won't say overhauling their running back room. I guess we'll see if he's going to be more playing out of the slot this year. I guess that's where my intrigue is how it's what we're hearing about Patterson, where he's being lined up, if he's being, primarily used out of the backfield, which I think would be a bad sign for both backs behind him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just like with Houston, they're going to be playing from behind a lot. Yes, they have quarterbacks that are mobile, but they're not hyper mobile. They don't, at least not on their profile, especially with Mariota at this point in his career. One of these guys is going to be catching passes out of here, especially Patterson's playing primarily out of the slot.
Well, the thing with Patterson, too, out of the backfield is, he only averaged 4 yards to carry. It's not like he was some enigma as a runner. So you can certainly improve on that. He had 1,000 scrimmage yards, but 550 of that was, and a lot of his value came from the receiving game and, picking up 70 targets there. On top, the dude had 205 touches.
And he's an early season
guy.
He's he fell off pretty hard towards the end of the year, it felt like, at least from what I remember he did.
So
I'm also curious to see who the quarterback's going to be. Is it really going to be Mariota? Is it going to be Ritter? And then whoever it is.
Kind of an underarching thing, right?
Yeah,
that's true, too.
It's like, how heavy they lean on Kyle Pitts. Like, everyone's assuming Kyle Pitts is going to be the wide receiver 1, but if it's one of these two quarterbacks lean more on Drake London over Kyle Pitts, then what?
They will. But I think that there's still enough volume with them playing from behind to support Pitts, especially.
I think we hope Mariota
class.
Starts. I think we hope Mariota comes out to start right away. This offense,
and I think
it's going to be starving. Yeah, it's a legitimate concern though. They could also be one of the teams leading the league in 3 and outs, and it doesn't matter who's there. They're never going to be on the field.
I don't think even if Mariota starts, I don't think he starts the whole season. But
no.
But I do think it's the right decision to start with Mariota. That's why I think that's an underarching storyline, but still a storyline because they do like Ritter. The reports out of camp on Ritter have been good, and if he has, an awesome camp and Mariota shits the bed, things can change.
Yeah, I agree.
And then how do you guys feel about taking Kyle Pitts at 312 right now?
He's get a lot of targets.
Yeah, it's a bad offense, but he's going to get a boatload of targets. I don't know. I don't like the elite tier tight end has kind of fallen off with some holes outside of Mark Andrews. Travis Kelce's age, I think, scares some people down. So, I'm totally on board with just waiting until the later rounds on tight end.
If I can get one of those 3, and even then, I would rather have Pitts over Andrews, but it's Kelce. It just as Hopper said, I guess it depends whether they're landed in ADP. But Pitts going in the back of the 3rd, who could produce like a back end wide receiver 1, high 2, just given his potential volume. And we know he's going to have more than probably 1 touchdown. Like there should be positive touchdown regression from that point.
Oh my God, yeah, he was like 5%. I think he was projected for 5 or 6 last year. If everything would have went right.
Yeah, he's fine. It depends where Drake London is, I guess, in his progression and his development. But Pitts will primarily play on the outside. He's going to have just as much upside as most, if not all these tight ends. He might be one of the highest outside of maybe Kelce. For this year, not for dynasty, obviously.
Drake London's going up to 10-10 right now too, so that's
he's going.
That's good.
He's got good value.
It's good value for now.
I
It's
noticed
great
that in Scott Fishbowl too. He's going late.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yep. Carolina Panthers, I think that is 120% the Baker Mayfield Sam Darnold battle.
And when that should
Whether
be
you
1,000%
like it or
Baker's
not,
job.
That's
Yeah.
a Baker Mayfield Sam Darnold battle.
Which one can make DJ Moore that wide receiver one we've all been waiting for?
Both.
Baker Mayfield's the
DJ
answer.
Moore's that good. Both.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with neither. I don't trust the. I still don't trust the offense.
Well, we're a little off of each other there. If I'm
Yeah,
saying
we
that
are.
Both in your saying either. We're a
As
little,
much as
different
I like-
answers.
as
little
much as I
bit of
like
a delta.
Baker. Yeah.
For the Saints, I think that is. I don't know. That's something. One, there's going to be some concern or a lot of attention paid to who can back up Kamara, especially if he ends up with a suspension. Does Ingram have a little bit left in the tank? Or Dwayne Washington? Jesus, the options behind him are bad. It's also going to be paying attention to Michael Thomas's health. And, look, you've got 3 receivers there that I think are very, very capable of, doing some good shit. And are very, very capable of being productive wide receiver 2s if they're the focal point. But, can Olave come in and hit the ground running like a lot of rookies have? Is Michael Thomas going to start the season on the pup? What does he have left? Jarvis Landry coming out of Cleveland. Can he rebound at all? There's these receivers. And if they're all 3 healthy, then all of a sudden you got a very formidable receiving core somehow. But they eat into each other's targets so much that I don't know how good that is. I'm really watching this wide receiver core with the Saints to see how it shakes out. I don't know that it's necessarily a can't battle so much as it is who's healthy and who's likely to be the guy, or are they all healthy and it's going to make all of them, wide receiver 4s. But we'll see.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Because you don't know how the wide receiver core is going to be, and is Jameson Winston going to be unleashed? Like last year, it seemed like he was on such a tight collar, where he was basically more of a game manager last year compared to where you saw him at Tampa
Oh
Bay,
yeah,
where he was able to
unleash
swing
the
it.
dragon.
If he's able to be let go and just throw the ball, then yeah.
Who is the play caller there now?
Dennis Allen, Pete Carmichael.
Okay.
I don't know what his history is actually.
I'll play on my flag on Olave. Just give me the younger guy with juice who should be playing outside. Talking about a rookie receiver who could end up popping this year. Right around 1,000 yards. I think Olave is probably one of your best bets, especially with Michael Thomas starting the year in the pub.
Pete Carmichael has been the offensive coordinator in New Orleans since 2009.
All right, so we have no fucking clue because it's always been Sean Payton calling the shit. I feel like great, awesome, grand, glory.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Bucks.
Kyle Rudolph. We talked about him. He signed.
He signed.
Hey, old tight end core with the rookie. Cool, awesome, great.
What do you mean old? Cameron Braid's not that old.
How old? Braid's got to be in his 30s, right? He's got to be up there. He's not old. He's not Rudolph old.
He's in his late 20s.
Braid is 31 years old.
31.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I said early
I
30s.
think Rudolph's like 34. 32. He'll be 33.
We're certainly watching the tight end battle here. I also think we're certainly watching. Well, we should be, because Godwin's going to start on the pop. It's going to be It's going to be Evans, and then probably Russell Gage. And it's not like Brady can't support a tight end if one of them's out there. But I
none
think
of these
Cameron
guys
Brate.
are Gronk. It's hard to say.
No, none of them are Gronk, but that doesn't mean none of them are not streamable options.
Like Kate Otten, you can't go wrong with Kate Otten.
No, you can't go wrong with Cameron Brate. I agree.
Yeah, no. Braid will have his 3 catches, 2 touchdowns for 2 yards. It'll be great.
A perfect opportunity to bet something.
I'm sure there's a line that
we're all
someone
3
has out there.
We are all 3 on different tight ends on this show.
Right?
I don't want any of them.
No, you're on Kyle Rudolph by
come
default.
on, Dan.
I
Yeah.
guess I'm on
Yeah.
Kyle Rudolph. I guess I'm on the starter probably. Fine, I'll take the starter.
You're not on Cameron Brate. You're on Rudolph.
Exactly. I'm on the starter.
I'm on the dark horse.
You're on the guy that that's going to get cut to go to the practice squad.
I'm not old. I'm not old reliable.
You are not old. I mean, technically, Kyle Rudolph's also old reliable, just not in this offense yet. Not yet. God, this is such a weird argument. Who you on, Rudolph, Cameron Braid, or the guy that's going to go to the practice squad?
You can tell we're trying hard to argue about something. We're talking about Tampa Bay's tight ends.
I'm having deja vu. Have we done this before?
I feel like, besides Kyle Rudolph, because you just signed there today.
No, I feel like we've done this before. With this team.
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think we did.
Okay,
you want Russell Gage and Mike Evans. Then you can
Leonard Fournette, and then
Rashad White
or Keyshawn Vaughn. That's going to be a hell of a battle.
Oh my God, it's White.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Denver Broncos. Albert O and Greg Dulcich are supposed to be in a battle. I think it's going to be Albert O.
I think it's Dulcich.
Same
on
here.
That one.
It's Albert O and Tim Patrick. I can't wait for Jerry Jeudy to fall by the wayside.
See, I've got a different take on that. The more I think about it, the more I think that...
Don't you say Cortland Sutton, God damn it.
No, I don't think Cortland Sutton falls by the wayside either. I think Cortland Sutton is, the outside receivers that Wilson loves, and I think that Jerry Jeudy has a chance to be Tyler Lockett-like.
He's going to play from the side.
He's going to play from the slot.
Golden Tate,
he's reliable. He's a good route runner, and those were always Wilson's wide receiver ones. Just saying.
I mean... Metcalf.
Yeah, that's where Cortland Sutton comes in. Doesn't mean Lockett fell off, though. I think Jerry Jeudy's a solid wide receiver, too, that you're going to get above draft value on.
I think Patrick will be. Yeah.
Now, I took Tim Patrick in the 13th round. I love Tim Patrick as a depth piece to have around. Dude does nothing but produce when he gets the opportunity.
Yep.
I feel like we're missing the most important topic right now. It's the Javonte Williams-Melvin Gordon split.
Yeah, it's the same as it was last year.
We're not going to know shit.
And if it
falls, nothing.
If it's the same as last year, everyone can eat crow on freaking Williams because there's no way I would take him in the second round. I still won't.
You shouldn't. But here's what it is, right? No. You're not drafting Melvin Gordon expecting upside. You're drafting where you draft Melvin Gordon, you need to expect that Melvin Gordon gets no better than a 50% split because he won't. Javonte Williams, if there's any upside swing there, it's going to be towards Javonte Williams.
But you're paying,
you're paying premium
a semi-premium for it. 207, RB12, going before Barkley, Fournette, Zeke, and those guys. So I mean, there is
too high.
I mean,
let somebody else deal with it.
There's a true, absolutely. Like that's the risk you shouldn't take in the second round. Like we always talk about what you should and should not do in your drafts, and you don't super swing for the fences. If outside of health wise, especially for your top 2 or 3 picks, you got to be mindful of that.
That's a pick of fence. You think you can jump and clear, and you totally miss it. And you nail it.
I can't wait for Melvin Gordon out.
Personal experience.
Oh my God, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna laugh all the way to the championship.
It's an 8th round pick right now. Super target for Hero and zero RB.
I agree. All right, Chiefs. The Chiefs really have 2 battles to watch. It's their wide receivers as a whole between Valdez-Scantling, Hardman, Juju, Reese Fountain, Sky Moore, Josh Gordon. I mean, there's 6 guys that are battling for 3 spots with a top-tier quarterback. And if you believe that Mahomes is still going to be a top-tier quarterback, and I think most of us do, he's going to need somebody other than Travis Kelce. 1 or 2 of those guys is going to have to pop. And pop doesn't necessarily mean high-end 1 like Tyreek Hill was. Oh, Justin Ross is there too. It means that, 2 of those guys are going to be in the wide receiver 2-3 discussion if one of them isn't a wide receiver 1. And I don't see any of them necessarily being 1s, which means that there's got to be 2 guys here to have. But you got to, as far as who, I think a lot of people want it to be Sky. I feel most comfortable with Juju, but we've seen flashes out of MVS. It's not Hardman for me, though.
It's not Hardman or MVS. I think if you're going to get it, it's going to be Juju or Sky. MVS couldn't find targets in a wide open depth chart behind Adams in Green Bay, playing with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think you're going to find it in Kansas City. Like, yes, there's no there's no Devontae Adams there, but it's no. If you're gonna take stabs in the dark, Juju and Sky Moore. Obviously, it's Travis Kelce.
I'm Juju now. I don't want to like wait too long or try to like find out who that one is. It's like I want just Juju because I have a feeling they're all going to kind of cancel each other out one way or another week to week.
Yeah. The problem with Valdez-Scantling wasn't necessarily that he couldn't find targets because he got between, 5 and 7 most of his career. He just couldn't stay healthy. He played 16 games once, twice, 3 times. Never mind. He wasn't healthy last year. Counting. It's hard.
It is hard.
But, he was a little bit over 5 targets a game last year as a deep threat, so. I still think it's Smith-Schuster and Sky, but.
Yeah.
And then the running back battle is going to be the other one to watch. They brought in Ronald Jones. Jerick McKinnon was incredible during the playoffs last year. And then the incumbent, Edwards Helaire, are they done screwing with that, or are they going to keep giving him opportunities?
So Clyde's 504. Jones is 905.
McKinnon's free.
McKinnon will probably continue to be free.
Don't forget about Derek Gore.
McKinnon's free.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, yeah, Isaiah Pacheco.
All right, the Raiders.
I was just hoping you to keep saying McKinnon's free.
Oh, McKinnon's free.
There you go.
There you
Until one of those guys gets cut.
Running backs for the Raiders between Kenyon Drake, Zamir White, Josh Jacobs.
Give me Zeus.
Jesus Christ. Get off. Just mute him. Mute yourself, Ryan. You're on timeout.
Jacobs for me. I like Drake. I've always liked Kenyon Drake.
You have. Drake and Zamir are both in the bench stasses, and at least Josh Jacobs is in the middle of the fourth. I'm probably just not going to take him regardless. He's
going to be the guy he's going to be the starter. He's going to be the guy that gets the first crack at it. But you are going to see some Kenyon Drake and potentially some Zamir White mix in. And I don't know that any of them necessarily have high-end value, but Drake's a guy that's done it. Zamir White, I didn't love his profile, so for me, it's Drake.
Yeah. They just don't utilize him in the passing game enough. I mean, Drake, they did when he was healthy. Josh Jacobs, they just refuse to use him in that role unless everyone, behind him gets hurt.
Yeah.
You add in Adams, you still have Renfrow, you still have Waller. I just don't see the allure. I mean, outside of touchdown potential, because his offense should be better than years past, but I still like him. I think he's okay at this spot, but I'll probably end up avoiding him. I'd rather have Travis Etienne just going to pick behind him. No, AJ Dillon's going in the 5th round. Almost a full round behind him, so it's tough for me.
Chargers. I don't see anything there that I'm all about. I guess the tight end position between Donald Parham and Gerald Everett.
God, it better be Gerald Everett. Jesus
you
Christ.
hope so.
God, if you can't beat up Parham.
Eric Kromahek?
Bless you.
Hunter Campmoyer. Okay, that one wasn't as hard as I thought. It was just a long name.
Trey McKitty.
Stone Smart with Stone Smart with 2 T's.
Oh, 2 T's. So you're just trying to make a. You're just trying to make an H.
No, it's not Trey McKitty. Anyway, we're done there. Cardinals. It's really going to be nothing. Actually,
Yeah, I got nothing there.
I've got one thing there. It's the backup to James Conner, because that matters between Darrell Williams, Benjamin Keontae Ingram. The backup to James Conner does matter here, because one, they are going to protect James Conner. He's not going to be a 200 carry guy. So whoever the backup is matters quite a bit, especially given his injury history, and they're going to have some flex value. So it's between Darrell Williams, Benjamin Keontae Ingram.
They might lean on Connor a little bit more without Hopkins for 6 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if Connor is.
See, I think they're going to lean on Ertz more, which is why I took him as my Scott Fishbowl thing.
Well, yeah, you want Ertz regardless. Even when Hopkins comes back, I still like Ertz, especially at value. But I think I could definitely see them lean on Connor until the wheels inevitably fall off, and then they'll go right to their RBBC.
I have a gut feeling that like Hopkins isn't going to spend 6 games. He's going to get down to like 2 to 4.
That's what I'm hoping for.
You know, I'm still waiting to hear that.
He doesn't have a record. I'm surprised there has been no word on his appeal yet.
There's been a word on a lot of shit out of the NFL office.
I know. Like, what the fuck?
Makes me wonder what the hell they're doing.
Nothing.
We didn't know things.
I want to know things.
We do need to know
Come
things.
on.
Hopefully that picks up during training camp.
Yeah,
Los Angeles Rams. Looking at the running backs here between Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Kyron Williams. I guess not really. It's basically going to be Cam Akers. We think he's healthy after last year if he has his backfield.
It should be his backfield.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I can kind of make a battle out of there.
Yeah, they're all set. I guess maybe tight ends if a Bryce Hopkins
it's Higbee
can take
Higbee,
on more than
Higbee.
Higbee. Yeah,
I think it's Higbee.
That's all we really got though.
San Francisco, it's the backup running back again behind Elijah Mitchell, with Tyrion Davis-Price, Jeff Wilson, Trey Sermon, JaMychal Hasty. We know that you go 3 deep with value in the Niners backfield, so it's going to be how that shakes out. But I think Mitchell's pretty solidified as a starter here.
Yeah.
It's not really camp battle, but I'm curious to see like how.
It's about camp battles, Ryan.
I know it's about camp battles. I'm curious to see what Trey Lance can do.
Run the football and take targets away from its offense.
Yeah, right, and take goal line touchdowns away from the running backs.
It's gonna make everyone. It's making all their running backs irrelevant.
I'm just here to see if he flops.
It's not.
I just think he's gonna flop.
Who cares if he flops as long as he gets me a shit ton
He's
of
got
points
rushing
with
floor.
Football. He's got the Konami code upside, Ryan.
He can only flop so far.
Yeah.
He's got the upside.
He can't be worse than Deshaun Kaiser and Tim Tebow. He'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. He can't be. He's got. Yeah. Anyway. Seattle.
Nice.
Who is the quarterback?
Drew Lock.
Who's the starting running back?
Yeah,
and that's it right there. You just summed it up. It's going to be Drew Lock versus Geno Smith. And Kenneth Walker versus the health of Rashad Penny and Chris Carson.
God. And when they traded for Jimmy G, you can throw him in the quarterback ring too.
Oh, Darwin Thompson's here. We better consider that again.
Darwin Thompson's there too?
Yep.
Oh, man, the GOAT himself.
Thank God they got a good punter.
God, that team's going to be so horrible to watch. It's going to be great.
They're going to be really bad.
They're going to be so bad.
So, anyway, that's all I got.
That's it. That's the show.
Those are your camp battles. Focus will probably be on training camp and redraft for the next month. So,
love it.
Buckle up for that.
Yay.
The show is at Beerfield on Twitter. I am at Beerfield Hop with 2 P's. Dan is at Beerfield Thury. Ryan is at Ryan Minor _ FFB.
FFB, yeah, not Beerfield Ryan or anything like that.
Ryan Minor. That's Ryan Minor _ FFB. Minor with an E, by the way, not an O.
Yes.
Like
coal miner,
people
not
that mine, not underage. See ya.
Hey up.
Bye.